Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at something that might be actually pretty relevant to a lot of you out there, especially if you're over 40. You know, that whole "what's AI going to do to my job?" question. So we're going to be looking at this through the lens of a real estate broker, Daphnis Dutes. And you might be thinking, okay, what does real estate have to do with me? But stick with us.
Yeah, it's funny because Dutes' insights, combined with some of the actual data about AI, it really gives you a surprising look at what the future of work might look like, regardless of your field.
Exactly. So let's dive in. Now, Dutes doesn't really sugarcoat things, right? AI is disrupting the job market. We're seeing jobs, particularly those with a lot of repetitive tasks, being automated out of existence. Yeah. In fact, Dutes actually points out that in manufacturing, something like almost 40% of jobs could be automated in the next decade. It's a huge number.
Yeah, it's massive. And, we can already see this happening. Like, think about data entry. AI can process information so much faster and with way more accuracy than humans ever could. It's making those roles almost obsolete.
Wow, 40%, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, that really puts things in perspective. So it sounds like ignoring these changes is kind of a recipe for disaster.
It's not about trying to scare anyone. It's really just about understanding that adaptation is key here. The good news is that this disruption, it's also creating a whole bunch of new opportunities.
Okay, that is reassuring.
Yeah.
But, honestly speaking, as someone over 40, sometimes it feels like you're already at a disadvantage in this whole tech-driven world.
It's interesting you say that because Dutes actually argues the opposite. They believe that the experience and the work ethic and the knowledge that you gain with age, those are incredibly valuable assets in the age of AI.
So instead of seeing age as a weakness, we should be looking at it as a strength. That's kind of a refreshing take.
Think about it. AI might be able to mimic tasks, but it can't replicate things like emotional intelligence,
Creativity.
or leadership. And these are areas where experienced professionals really shine.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So how can people over 40, to tap into this experience superpower and really thrive in this new AI world?
Well, Dutes suggests a few strategies. First, upskilling. I know it might sound a little daunting, but it's really about leveling up your skill set.
I like that. So instead of seeing it as a chore, it's like adding more tools to your toolbox, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's a ton of support out there. Platforms like Coursera and Udemy offer courses on everything from, the basics of AI to data analytics, many of them specifically designed for beginners.
Yeah, and Dutes also talks a lot about learning at least the basics of coding. They mentioned Python specifically as being really valuable in the AI world. Why is that?
Well, Python is super widely used in developing AI and machine learning algorithms. Even just a basic understanding of it can open up new opportunities and just help you understand the technology better.
Okay, so upskilling is important. But what if someone is thinking about a bigger career change? Is it too late to make a change, especially mid-career?
Well, Dutes actually highlights career pivoting as another really solid strategy. And this doesn't always mean starting completely from scratch. You could explore industries where AI adoption is happening a little slower, or you can look for ways to kind of blend your existing skills with AI.
So, for example, if you're in marketing, instead of being afraid of AI, you could learn how to use AI tools to make your campaigns even better.
Exactly. It's about evolving with the technology not being replaced by it.
Okay, so upskilling and pivoting. Got it. What other strategies does Dutes suggest?
Well, the rise of the gig economy is presenting this whole new set of opportunities. And AI can actually make it easier to start your own business, believe it or not.
Now, that's interesting. Tell me more about that.
Well, platforms like Upwork, they're offering more and more AI-related gigs that really need that human oversight. Plus, AI can actually help automate parts of running a business. Things like marketing, customer service, even financial management.
So you could use AI to free up your time and really focus on the parts of your business that you actually enjoy.
Exactly. It's about using AI as a tool to create new income streams and explore new possibilities.
This is all great stuff. But, AI is changing so quickly. How do we make sure we stay ahead of the curve and don't fall behind?
Yeah, that's key. Dutes really emphasizes the importance of continuous learning and adaptation. They actually have some really practical tips for staying up to date on all the latest AI developments.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are they?
Well, one is to follow reliable AI news sources, things like MIT Technology Review, or even just checking out AI blogs and webinars. Attending industry events and reading reports from groups like McKinsey is also really helpful.
So we need to be proactive and really seek out the information.
Exactly. And don't forget the power of community. Engaging with people in online AI communities like Reddit or Stack Overflow can be super helpful. Even just experimenting with AI tools in your own field can give you a real advantage.
So it's about being curious and constantly asking yourself, how can AI help me solve problems in my area? How can I use it to improve what I'm already doing?
That's the key. If you can keep that mindset, you'll be well positioned to really thrive in this new world.
This is starting to feel less like some scary unknown and more like a challenge to get excited about.
That's the spirit. It's important to remember that AI isn't inherently good or bad. It's a tool. And like any tool, it can be used in a lot of different ways.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
So what about the benefits? Dietz talks about some pretty amazing ways that AI can improve our lives and society as a whole.
Absolutely. We're talking about increased productivity, more personalized experiences, in healthcare and education, better decision-making, cost savings, and even breakthroughs in sustainability and safety.
Okay, so those are some big picture benefits. But how does this actually play out in our everyday lives?
Well, think about AI-powered fitness apps. Apps that can personalize your workouts or learning platforms that can tailor the content to your specific needs. Even AI assistants like Alexa or Siri, they're making our lives a little bit easier and more efficient every day.
And let's not forget the potential of AI in healthcare. Early disease detection, personalized treatments, drug discovery. The possibilities are pretty amazing.
It's really remarkable how AI is transforming so many different aspects of our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is incredible to think about all the potential AI has.
I know, right? And it's clearly not just some passing fad. This is something that's going to stick around and really shape our world in some pretty major ways.
Absolutely. Dietz really drives home the point that this isn't something we can just ignore, It's about understanding AI, adapting to it, and figuring out how we can use it to our advantage.
So we've talked about some of the potential downsides of AI in terms of job displacement, but we've also talked about some really exciting possibilities. What else does Dietz have to say about the long-term impact of AI?
Well, one of the things that Dietz really emphasizes is that as AI gets more powerful, it's going to become even more integrated into our lives. We're talking about everything from how we shop and consume entertainment to how our cities operate.
So it goes way beyond just using AI assistants and personalized recommendations.
Right. Imagine smart homes that anticipate your needs, transportation systems that optimize traffic flow and real-time, even healthcare that's tailored to your individual genetic makeup. That's the kind of future Dietz is talking about.
That sounds like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
It's exciting, but also a little bit daunting. What are some of the challenges that we need to be prepared for?
One of the biggest challenges that Dietz highlights is this need to balance convenience with control. As AI becomes more integrated into our lives, it's going to be crucial to make sure we don't give up too much autonomy.
So how do we do that?
Well, Dietz talks about the importance of being conscious consumers of AI. That means not just blindly accepting whatever new technology comes along, but really asking ourselves some critical questions.
Like what kinds of questions?
Things like, who benefits from this technology? What are the potential risks? How does this affect my privacy? And how can we make sure AI is being used in a way that actually aligns with our values?
Those are some really important questions. It sounds like Dietz is urging us to take a more active role in shaping the future of AI rather than just passively letting it happen to us.
Exactly. And that's where our experience comes in. We've seen firsthand how technology can be used for both good and bad. We have a responsibility to use our wisdom and our insight to guide the development of AI in a positive direction.
That makes a lot of sense. But AI is such a complex field. How can those of us who aren't, tech experts really make a difference?
Well, Dietz lays out some very practical steps. First, stay informed. Read about AI, follow the news, have conversations about it. The more you understand the technology, the better equipped you'll be to have an informed opinion.
That's a good point. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the technical jargon, but really, it's about staying curious and engaging with the topic in a way that makes sense for you.
Right. And another important step is to be vocal. Share your thoughts and concerns with your friends, family, colleagues. Contact your elected officials. Let them know what matters to you when it comes to AI regulation. Remember, your voice matters.
So it's about using our collective voice to ensure that AI is developed and used in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly. And one more thing that Dietz emphasizes is the importance of supporting organizations that are working to promote responsible AI development. There are a lot of groups out there doing incredible work to ensure that AI is used ethically and for the greater good.
It sounds like Dietz is really calling for a collective effort here. It's not just about individual actions, but about working together to shape the future of AI.
Absolutely, and that actually brings us to another crucial point that Dietz makes about the future of work. As AI takes over more and more tasks, it's going to free up a lot of human time and energy. The question is, how are we going to use that newfound freedom?
That's a fascinating question. I can imagine some people being really excited about that prospect, while others might find it a little unsettling. What does Dietz suggest we do with all that extra time?
Well, Dietz believes that this presents a really unique opportunity to kind of redefine our relationship with work. What if work became less about simply earning a living and more about pursuing our passions, contributing to our communities, and exploring our creative potential?
That sounds almost utopian. But is it really realistic to think that everyone could just pursue their passions without worrying about, paying the bills?
It's definitely a bold vision, and it would require some pretty significant societal changes. But Dietz points to some interesting ideas that are being discussed, like the concept of a universal basic income.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. That's the idea where everyone receives a guaranteed basic income regardless of whether they're working or not. But how would that even be possible?
Well, there are different proposals out there for how it could be funded, and it's certainly a controversial topic. But the basic idea is that as AI and automation generate more wealth, we need to find ways to distribute that wealth more equitably so that everyone benefits.
That makes sense. It seems like AI is going to force us to rethink some of our fundamental assumptions about work and the role that it plays in our lives.
Exactly. And Dietz believes that this could ultimately lead to a more fulfilling and meaningful existence for a lot of people. Imagine a world where you're free to pursue your interests, contribute your talents to society, and spend more time with loved ones without the constant pressure of having to earn a living.
That sounds pretty amazing. But what about the potential downsides? If people aren't working traditional jobs, wouldn't that lead to boredom, apathy, or even social unrest?
Those are definitely valid concerns, and Dietz acknowledges that it would be important to address those challenges carefully. It would require a shift in our cultural mindset, a move away from the idea that our worth is solely defined by our productivity.
So it's not just about providing people with a basic income, but also about fostering a culture that values creativity, community involvement, and personal growth.
Exactly. It's about creating a society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive regardless of their employment status.
This is a lot to think about. It seems like Dietz is painting a picture of a future that's both exciting and uncertain. But ultimately, it's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create.
That's the key takeaway here. We have the power to shape the future of AI and the future of work. It's not something that's going to be decided for us. It's something we need to actively participate in.
Well, this has certainly given me a lot to ponder. It's clear that AI is going to have a profound impact on our world in the years to come. But as Dietz has shown us, it's not something to be feared. It's something to be embraced, understood, and ultimately shaped to align with our values.
I couldn't agree more, and I think that's a hopeful note to end on.
It really is inspiring to think about all the possibilities AI opens up,
Especially when it comes to reimagining the future of work.
It is, isn't it? It's easy to get caught up in all the anxieties around job displacement, but Dietz really challenges us to see this as an opportunity to create a better future for ourselves and for society as a whole. I'm curious though, Dietz paints this very optimistic picture of a future where people are free to pursue their passions. But is that really feasible for everyone? What about people who, find fulfillment in more traditional jobs, or who might not have the resources or support to just suddenly switch gears and pursue something totally different?
That's a great question. And Dietz does acknowledge that this transition, it's not going to be easy or automatic. It's going to require a lot of thought and planning to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to thrive in this new world.
So what kinds of things need to be considered?
Well, for one thing, Dietz stresses the importance of education and training. As AI changes the job market, we need to make sure people have access to the skills and knowledge they need to adapt and succeed. This might mean rethinking our traditional education systems, offering more flexible and accessible training programs, and really emphasizing lifelong learning.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like we're all going to need to become lifelong learners, constantly updating our skills to stay relevant in this rapidly changing world. But education and training can be expensive. How can we make sure that everyone has access to those opportunities regardless of their financial situation?
Yeah, That's a big one. Dietz suggests exploring some new models of education funding, maybe through government subsidies, employer partnerships, or even some innovative financing options like income share agreements.
Those are some interesting ideas.
Yeah.
But beyond education and training, what else needs to change to really make this vision of a more fulfilling future of work a reality?
Well, Dietz believes we need to kind of rethink our social safety nets. Things like universal health care, affordable housing, a really strong social security system. Those things are going to become even more crucial as the nature of work continues to evolve.
So it's not just about preparing individuals for the future of work, but also about creating a societal infrastructure that can actually support them through all these changes.
Exactly. And this is where Dietz's perspective as a real estate broker, it becomes really relevant. They emphasize the importance of creating these vibrant and inclusive communities where people have access to not just jobs, but also affordable housing quality, healthcare, and opportunities for social connection and engagement.
That's such an important point. It's easy to get so caught up in the technological aspects of AI that we forget that ultimately it's all about how this technology is impacting people's lives.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to that crucial role that those of us over 40 can play in shaping this future. You know, we have the experience, the wisdom, the perspective to really guide the development and implementation of AI in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
So what's the call to action? What can we do to make sure that this happens?
First and foremost, Dietz urges us to just stay engaged. Don't be afraid of AI, embrace the learning process, talk to your friends and family about it, attend community meetings, contact your elected officials, make your voice heard.
That's a powerful reminder. We often feel like we're just along for the ride when it comes to technology, but we actually have a lot more agency than we realize.
Exactly. And remember, we've navigated major technological shifts before. We've adapted and we've thrived, and we can do it again. The key is to approach AI with a sense of curiosity, a willingness to learn, and a commitment to using this technology for the greater good.
Well said. This has been an incredible deep dive. It's left me feeling both challenged and inspired. AI is undoubtedly going to reshape our world in some pretty profound ways, but ultimately it's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create.
I couldn't agree more. And I really hope this conversation has empowered you to embrace the possibilities, navigate the challenges, and use your voice to shape a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
Thank you so much for joining us on the deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration of AI and all of its implications, and we encourage you to continue learning, engaging, and contributing to the conversation as we journey together into this really exciting and uncertain future.